York State resident, diagnosed. He is a man in his 50s from Westchester County. He is the first patient who required hospitalization in New York City since the coronavirus issue began. He is the first patient to be seriously ill. This is a reminder that for a lot of people, this is manageable. It could feel like the flu when handled right and if people don't have those underlying conditions. But it's a reminder that we're going to be seeing a lot more of these, and we have to get ahead of it.
Be calm. It's really working out. Because of all we've done, the risk to the American people remains very low. A lot of people think that goes away in April with the heat. One day, it's like a miracle. It will disappear. If you're healthy, you will probably go through a process and you'll be fine. We have it so well under control. I mean, view this the same as the flu. When somebody sneezes, I mean, I try and bail out as much as possible. And I haven't touched my face in weeks. In weeks.
Mr. President,
I miss it. You know, it could get worse before it gets better. It could maybe go away. We'll see what happens. Nobody really knows.
There's tons of rumors around New York City that the city could be locked down. We've seen what's happened in places like Italy. Do you see that as something that might happen in the future?
It was in China in November. We were on notice. The curve that everybody talks about, I see as a wave, and it is going to crash on the hospital system. Where are the ventilators? You pick the 26,000 people who are going to die. No state is equipped to handle this situation.
We're going to keep that 6 feet apart rule. We're not going to allow any gatherings. We have to keep people separated. Social distancing is the key to slowing this thing down. We're expecting a huge surge just in the next few days. 1,500 deaths already, and we have not even gotten to the hard part of this. This is a war. It's a very different enemy. It's an enemy you can't see.
I believe 9/11 was the worst situation that I was going to deal with in my lifetime. We have been behind on this disease from day one. New York, now the hardest hit state in the nation.
Anyone who recently left New York City should self-quarantine for the next 14 days.
New York now accounts for about half of the more than 53,000 confirmed cases across the U.S.
Just proving how quickly this virus is spreading.
The National Guard now being deployed to build makeshift hospitals.
This thing is moving rapidly, and I think April is going to be a lot worse than March, and that's just New York City.
Where we are today, you will be in 3 weeks. We are your future.
This is going to be like having many Katrinas, many states simultaneously in crisis. There is no national structure to address this right now, and our hospitals, bluntly, are going to start to go break.
It's time to take this seriously.
To unleash the full power of the federal government today, I am officially declaring a national emergency. 2 very big words.
The more tests you take, the more positives you will find. Either you get treated and get better and get discharged, or you stay in the hospital and probably wind up on a ventilator, and the longer you're on a ventilator, the less likely you will come off the ventilator.
You yesterday recommended that New Yorkers, when they go outside, wear some kind of a face covering over their nose and mouth.
There could be that asymptomatic transmission. The idea is to help make sure that all of us don't accidentally spread it to someone else, because we might have it, we might be asymptomatic, not even know.
The bad news is we continue to lose a tremendous number of lives.
Nearly every state in the country has now been declared a public health disaster zone.
By this time tomorrow, more than 40% of the country will be under a stay-at-home order. Health officials say it's critical to prevent further spread of this virus.
To everyone in New York, you are in a very difficult place, and if any city should be adhering to the presidential guidelines, your governor and mayor, it's New York and the New York metro area right now.
This virus spreads in density. New York City, it is the most dense environment. We have to be prepared for an apex of 140,000 hospital beds and 40,000 ICU beds with ventilators. We go out there today and we kick coronavirus ass.
New studies show most cases of the virus here in New York can be traced to people who traveled from Europe in February before the travel ban.
We're going to begin with breaking news because President Trump says he is ready for Americans to get back to work by Easter Sunday, even though the World Health Organization now says the U.S. could soon be the global epicenter of the outbreak.
Health experts warn infection rates could soar if the economy is reopened too quickly.
Our country wasn't built to be shut down. America will again and soon be open for business.
Que se sienten y a ver cómo van a hacer las cosas y no están aquí. Ay, mire, piqué.
No matter what we do, as good as we are, as hard as we work, people are going to die.
The government has put in an order for 100,000 body bags. What is the rate of death right now in New York City? What do you expect it to be next week? And are you able to accommodate that?
At this pace, a person is dying from COVID-19 in New York every 2.5 minutes.
This is what's going on in Bellevue. They're making portable morgues.
Hospitals have been using these refrigerated trucks to store the bodies of COVID-19 patients because the morgues here in New York City are almost already full. But these mobile morgues are filling up themselves.
So many of our healthcare workers and our first responders, they've gotten sick.
Americans have to decide between staying healthy and going back to work.
I think we're going to do both. We're going to go back to work and we're going to stay healthy. We're going to do testing, but you don't need to test 325 to 350 million people.
A leading model now predicts 60,000 Americans will die in the pandemic by August. That's down significantly from the 100 to 240,000 it predicted just weeks ago. Doctors credit social distancing and saying we can't let up.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the response to this crisis?
I'd rate it a 10. I think we've done a great job.
We're not going to get back to normal, the sort of before COVID, the BC kind of normal, where we go traveling, we go to restaurants, we go to concerts, we go to religious services, we go on cruises, until we have a vaccine that protects everyone. That's 18 months. It's not going to be sooner.
In the meantime, there's new hope for a potential coronavirus treatment now in the works.
It's a pill that blocks the coronavirus from attaching to lung cells in test tubes. It could be used to both treat and prevent COVID-19, and it is set to start clinical trials in humans this spring.